And good evening. Welcome to the Deltahead stream. I am James Howell. Pardon me. It's going to be a short one tonight. I got a little bit of voice left in me. We have entered into what I think of as the white noise season of summer, meaning there is enough smoke and unwelcome particulate in the air that my home is running air purifiers and AC units fairly constantly. So it caught me by surprise. Had kind of an allergic reaction to the smoke, which is only in the yellow moderate this year. Oh, what I have to look forward to so far. And but yeah. So still wanted to do it. Feeling like I have the energy for it, and especially want to share with you Glory. That is Santo y Blue Demon contra el Dr. Frankenstein. So, that is something to look forward to, I guess. This is the closest I think I've got to like a solid Snake voice, right? I think David Hayter went to a bar, chain smoked, drank like throat-burning whiskey and shouted so he can get that original Snake voice, and I guess this is sort of the same thing. He could have just lived in Washington State in 2023 and breathed the outdoor air. But let's see, pregame show. Besides the movie, let's see. So I finished this. I finished Cory Doctorow's Red Team Blues. It's good. It is worth a read. I think that its strength for me lives in the first 2/3. The build-up, entering into the fictional world, and sort of how it operates and learning its rules, that's very interesting. The main character, Martin Hench, is balanced as a human being to his benefit, and I feel like he's missing a flaw. He's not perfect. He's not like a Marty Stew or anything. But there's just something dire that needs to be wrong with him, frankly, in order for him to be a little more compelling to me, I think. Again, it's interesting. It does what I think a good fantasy novel needs to do, which is to bring you into its world, right? Get you on board with the way that it's thinking about its universe, with the way that its characters think about themselves and how the world around them works. And it does that, except using economics and accounting. So, because it uses that style of storytelling, but slots in content that most people would think of as quite boring. Apologies to accountants and economists out there. Your professions are much maligned. Because honestly, ask an accountant or an economist about their work, and you're going to find somebody who is often very excited. And hearing somebody talk about what they do and is very excited it's exciting itself. But anyway, seeing that stubbed into what is essentially sort of the storytelling and world building conventions of good fantasy is very interesting. So I think there is an argument to be made. There is a very short leap from sort of magic woven into the texture of the universe to and casting spells in different places and times from where you are, to being able to screw with somebody's finances from across the globe because you can mess with a spreadsheet, right? There's a similar sort of intangibility to that power, and that's something that Red Team Blues does that's very interesting. But yeah, the climax kind of feels like it's happening in another book somewhere else. Not that the style changes, but because the really interesting stuff happens more or less off screen in a way that feels different than the rest of the novel in a way that I'm not entirely sure works. But I recommend reading it. It is not really a mixed review. It is a positive review with some questions. Having moved on to The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, also quite good. It has won prizes and acclaim, and I'm enjoying it very much. It does well what like something like Gone Home does well, right? It's a coming of age of a young woman who is gay, and basically the sort of like coming to understand yourself as a teenager, that is a relatable experience regardless of the specific sort of like self-awareness that is that's coming to your that you're coming into. And so Gone Home works really well because because you don't have to relate to the main character's specific circumstances to relate to her. And Song of Achilles accomplishes much the same thing with a similar sort of thing. It's the relationship between Patroclus and Achilles, and exploring it's as a gay relationship from early in their youth. And it's a really interesting insertion of it's really interesting sort of entry. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a really interesting entry into the long line of responses to Patroclus's and Achilles' relationship as it appears in the Iliad and elsewhere, but mainly in the Iliad, because Achilles has such unique affection for Patroclus that that actually gets him out of his malaise and sends him on a murderous rampage that eventually culminates in the slaying of Hector. So it's interesting because it is a good historical fiction novel to the extent that it sets it in history / myth. In a way that feels alive, that feels true to somebody who's acquainted with that body of literature. At the same time, it also is very contemporary in a way that you understand that it's playing a little bit with its source material. For example, there's a forbidden love aspect to it, and I think that I don't know, Greek society seems like maybe one of the last places that male desire would have a forbidden quality to it, such that it feels more like a modern story in that respect than what I think a lot of the mores and sort of like acceptable range of expressions were back then. Nonetheless, I'm enjoying it very much. It is very crisply written. She does an excellent job, of conveying the strangeness and otherworldliness of gods, which I find is very good. Not quite monsters, not quite us, something in between, and her description of Tethys, Achilles' mother, is very, very, very unsettling. So, but yeah, that's those are the books. And now, in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to take you through Santo y Blue Demon contra el Dr. Frankenstein. And I think that it is, in fact, Dr. Frankenstein. Because, or is it Frankenstein? So it's Frankenstein. Is that right? There's one of these. Like, Frankenstein shows up as a villain for Santo and Blue Demon many, many times. And there are certain spellings that are different and pronunciations that are different each time. Like, they commit when they switch the E and the I back and forth. And this, I think, is Frankenstein. So that's my mistake. Anyway, Santo y Blue Demon contra Dr. Frankenstein. And you will notice that the mask that is up there is, in fact, Santo's. This is an insight into some of the creative power struggles that went on with these Santo and Blue Demon collaborations, where Rudy Guzman, the luchador who carried the Santo mask, was it's very interesting comparing what his personality seems to have been to the mythological aspects of his character, because he seems to have been a very shrewd, hard negotiator for publicity and also getting paid. And after he kind of came to understand his sort of like cultural value and cultural importance, he would leverage that to get, for example, first billing in collaborative ventures, and in this case, not merely first billing, but Blue Demon is missing from the title card, and that seems to be an omission. And I believe that there was some resentment between him and Blue Demon. I think not so much that it compromised their whole relationship, but was in fact there. And yes, the opening cards had these lovely silhouettes of Rassilon in motion. and yeah, these are always very cool. This is a type of credit sequence that shows up frequently. And the supporting luchadors in this are quite. This is a good roster. Rey Mendoza is, I believe, a legendary Rudo. He is an excellent wrestler. Enrique Vera, El Angel, Cesar Valentino, they show up as fighters in the wrestling sequences, and I've got to tell you, these are great matches. These are really good matches. Very fast paced, very vigorous, and good storytelling from some of the top players in the game at the time. So those are good. But what is cool about this is Dr. Frankenstein. Dr. Frankenstein, my God. So this is Erwin Frankenstein, to be clear, not Victor Frankenstein. This is Dr. Erwin Frankenstein. And it goes to lengths to clarify exactly how Erwin Frankenstein is our threat rather than Victor. Neither one of these is Erwin. He is speaking to them, and they are wowed by it. He is 113 years old, and they are like, wait, are you that famous scientist who created the monster? And he's like, no, that was my grandfather. So right off the bat, I mean, this revelation happens about midway through the movie, and so, oh my God, it's such a weird choice in so many ways, because all right, you might be thinking like, okay, this is a modern day inheritor of a cursed legacy updated to modern times, and that's why we've got Erwin. But you would be a fool for thinking that. He inherited all of his knowledge and formulas. He also discovered a youth potion. So he is actually, he's 130 years old. He's got this little vial that he knocks back and rewinds his age. And this is very strange. This is a very strange creative choice, because they managed to get the weirdest of both worlds as a Dr. Frankenstein who is not Victor, so he lacks the gravitas of the literary original, but he also doesn't have the currency of a relatable modern Frankenstein. So he's not somebody who has adapted this to the 20th century. He is a 19th century personality who, it's like, it's weird. It's like he's removed, but not. And they came up with a weird sciencey explanation to explain why he's not the Victor, but he's like off-brand but real. So what is he up to? Reanimating the dead? Well, by accident, yes. He is not trying to reanimate. He's not trying to reanimate the dead for its own sake. He is trying to switch brains because his wife is in a coma, a decades-long coma, and he wants to be able to transplant her brain into another body, and that will enable her to live longer. And so he keeps kidnapping people and keeps trying to get them to switch brains. Now, you might think, having inherited all of his knowledge and formulas, that, oh, well, this is the same genius. Not quite so. So here is how he switches brains. He's got two patients there, etherized. Actually, not etherized. They're going to sedate with a trepanation, meaning they're going to cut open and then the brain, and that'll be the real knockout. So he's going in pretty strong into the surgery. But then he turns to his assistant and says, ask the computer for the course of the cortical outline. His assistant goes to a computer, gets a printout, and looking over it, gives it to him. And Dr. Frankenstein is performing brain surgery while glancing over at a cheat sheet to see that he's doing it right. And okay, so proof of his success exists in the movie, but he kind of doesn't seem to know how to do brain surgery, which might account for the long list of failures. Like, this is like the equivalent of me printing out some MapQuest driving instructions, right, back in 2005. And then like leaning over to the passenger seat every like 10 minutes to see if I missed a turn. That's Dr. Frankenstein's surgical method here. It's very strange and very funny. And this is also not the Dr. Frankenstein that we know of cold, drafty hallways and shadowy grottos and science done on the run. This is a man who has science fiction. Basically, we've passed away from the candlelit grottos and have embraced the silver fluorescent lit corridor. So he's both gothic horror and science fiction, about Dr. Frankenstein, but not. And so he's a really interesting villain. And so, in addition to bringing back his wife, what else does he want to accomplish? Well, this is the other part of Dr. Frankenstein. There's the hallway, sterile hallways, and then there's a lounge room with a computer and a bunch of grunts. So what does he want to accomplish? If they knew, they would pee their pants. It's just not the most threatening or intimidating line, but that's our Dr. Frankenstein. That's Irwin. So the gentleman there on the right has had his brain swapped out with somebody else's brain for the sake of being controllable. He can be controlled by radio to kind of be this sort of like hulking colossus and do crimes. And so Golem, who's this guy right here, Golem has the strength of 20 men, but not the agility or skill of that masked man. That masked man, of course, being El Santo. So Dr. Frankenstein, Irwin, looks at... We're just going to call him Irwin from here on out. Irwin looks at Santo and sees the next level of his experiments. He has a very strong zombie, I presume, named Mortis, who he's going to transplant El Santo's brain into to create a monster as strong as Gollum and as agile and skilled as El Santo. And what is weird about this is, so the actor playing Gollum is let's get back here. So he is easily like a head taller than everybody else, very broad shoulders, very strong, and physically intimidating presence. This the guy who they're going to put Santo's brain in is exactly Santo's build and height. Granted, strength and muscularity can't be gauged by looking at somebody and saying they kind of look like somebody else, but they roughly have the same build, and they're both luchadors. So it's like, yeah, it's I don't know. I'm going to make a dumb analogy here. It's like if I've got two Hondas and I think that I'm going to do something really awesome and technical by replacing the engine of one inside the other, I still basically have a Honda. Like I didn't turn a Honda into a Mustang. I just have the same damn thing, and this kind of seems to be what he's going to do here. Yeah, so that's his plan. Create a big old monster as strong as as strong as this other experiment, and as agile as El Santo. And to be clear, it does cut from as strong and agile as El Santo to quality wrestling. So El Santo and Blue Demon having a good old fight. There is, I believe, Ray Mendoza in the ring, and Blue Demon. He's often billed second to El Santo, but gosh, he's a favorite of mine. I like him more than Santo on a personal level. Even if I do look at Santo and I see, well, yeah, this is a legend. And one of my favorite things that comes out about one of my favorite things in the wrestling scenes in this is that you actually do get to see Blue Demon's style of wrestling, apart from the sort of like wrestling that he has to do as part of the plot. And he's got kind of a signature flying cross chop, which is great. So here you have him dashing at, I think, El Angel, and runs up there, boom, and just knocks him down. And he does a series of things similar to Eddie Guerrero's like Three Amigos, where he just does like 3 suplexes in a row without letting go of his opponent's neck, where he will do a flying cross chop, pull him up on his feet, another flying cross chop, and just kind of continually do that. And it's very cool to watch. And this, of course, translates directly into real wrestle fighting. So here we have Santo and Blue Demon wrecking the place up. Now, Gollum does show up on the scene of one of these fights, but it's sort of like your Irwin Frankenstein instead of Victor. That's sort of like a little bit of a letdown. So Gollum shows up, makes a big display of bending a fire poker, and he's very strong. But the extent of his activity is to kind of wake everybody up that Blue Demon and Santo just beat up. So you see her, he's kind of like, okay, honey, put on your shoes. It's time to go to school. So yeah, he just kind of helps everybody up. It's like, oh, you're all right. You're all right. You'll get him next time. Next time, Tiger. Yeah, so that's Gollum. That's what we see of Gollum. Yeah, I mean, I could just watch Blue Demon and Santo just beat Blue Demon and Santo out in the regular world all day. It's immensely gratifying. Here we are. Just a couple of dads, man. Just a couple of dads. Eventually, he does get Santo in his clutches, and he's got him on the table, ready to anesthetize with sedate with trepanation. But then they decide to use real anesthesia. So they send a dude out to get more anesthesia. Blue Demon, in the meanwhile, has done a sneaky stealth invasion of the laboratory. So here you have scientists going to get more anesthesia. Boop. You don't see Blue Demon take him out. It just cuts to this. Sort of defensively, like pearl clutchingly holding the knockout gas, and he goes into the operating room and sprays it at everybody, knocks them out, and that leads to this gem of a panel, which, as you can see, I'm not the anesthesiologist. Man. This both captures so much of what I love about these movies, and also you could just take it out of context and it would just be a joy on its own. God, I love Blue Demon and Santo. They're great. Yeah, of course, more wrestling, sparks flying, computers break, mooks go down. And again, it's just a couple of dads, man. That's the thing that's great about them. I don't know if I've said this on stream or elsewhere, but the thing people compare Santo to, like James Bond and Batman. The thing about them is, Batman's like, Bruce Wayne, wealthy playboy, sort of like reader fantasy of being powerful and wealthy and unattached, and James Bond similarly, and Santo's just like a dad, right? He's like, well, we're gonna fight crime. Well, I gotta be in town on work to do it. And he's so much more relatable, it's very cool. It's very cool. Like, people like Santo. I don't know a Bruce Wayne. I don't know James Bond. I know several Los Santos, and it's great. Climax. They defeat Frankenstein. Frankenstein escapes with his lieutenant. They try to kill Santo in the ring. That fails. They chase him into the rafters, and the bodies fall down. And Santo and Blue Demon go check on them. They're dead, of course, and the film closes on this note. Tomorrow we'll think that all of this was a nightmare, which is both a comfort and terrifying, right? That this major experience will have the substance of a dream moving forward, as much as we want to distance ourselves from it, but also be connected to our reality and our experiences. That's what I get out of that. And I love it. So yeah, Santo y Blue Demon contra Dr. Frankenstein. So with that, we get into some Resident Evil 4 remake for the two of you that it looks like have stuck on for this. That's great. I really like these like 20-minute intros of going through an El Santo movie because it weeds out the weak. Pardon me. And let's see. Given all of that, I think my voice has got about 30 minutes in it, so we'll 30 more minutes in it, so we'll do that. Pardon me. Let's see. Do we have sound? Yes, we do. Good. All right, let me get my headphones on. Where did you go? smoke is just brutal. Brutal. One second, I'm getting chat up here. There we go. Good, good. Let's load up. Oh, wow. I haven't played this since last stream, apparently. Man.
So, what's become of Amber?
Sorry, nothing yet. But my little helper is creating quite a commotion. Everything will work out just fine.
As long as you can keep your dog under control.
He's a good boy. Predictable.
Fine. Keep your mutt. But don't come crying me. Get bit.
That's interesting. I actually think the Wesker's VO sounds less like Wesker than the Ada VO sounds less like Ada. I know people gave this woman a very hard time, very cruelly, online for what is, in essence, a good performance of this character. So yeah, it's interesting to me that's been that outcome. When, like, Wesker's VO, he it doesn't strike me as the same character.
Hey, Ada. Perfect.
Doesn't sound the right kind of menacing that I expect from a Wesker. Alright, treasure sweep. Good. Oh, who is this? Expanded map treasure. That is not, strictly speaking, a required treasure for the achievement that I'm going for. Let's see, how far back is that? That's actually not bad. Yeah, let's go back for it.
Same as ever.
Now Leon has no one to throw up on now. I'm glad they kept this weird contraption in the the game. It's silly, yeah. It reaches the level of silliness that the what do you call it? That the fire room had, but yeah, they made it work. So, in here, are there any knight statues back here that I'm going to run into? Oh, I really am that low on ammo. Well, I was noticing the outline of this room, and this one piece in particular, that it looks like you can use this to put an obstacle between yourself and another attacker. Does this guy come alive? No. I'm just checking. That I thought that maybe a Garrador would follow you out and you would have to sneak around or something. But no, that is not the case. Oh, interesting. Like, it almost sounds like there's a digital beep boop component there. Interesting. I don't think you do, my friend. Let's see. Oh, I'm gonna save up for treasures that are going to increase more in value. All right. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is go down here. Oh, no, I actually don't want to do that at all. First thing we're going to do is go down into the basement to take care of those knights, in particular the gold armor. Because I believe there should be... Yeah, we're going to get that treasure. Anything else? Nope. They only hide bullets in some art. Not all. Alright. I probably want to craft something to prepare for this. I could craft more mines. What guns do I have here? Man, tough decision. Well, I do love my mines, so there we go. Just go ahead and try to get some of these pieces of ammunition before the fight starts. There we go. That's what I was hoping for. And what does my healing look like? I've got a lot of fish, so. Can I see? Nope. Ah! Oh my god! Oh, that was bad. There we go.
Present for you.
Cool. Ah! Come on over, big fella. Ooh. That was right in the old Kennedy there. if that's actually hitting him as I want it to. Oh, crap. I 100% cheese this on my, let's see if I can. On my professional run through. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. There we go. Alright, looks like the only thing that was actually the challenge there was the armor. The Las Plagas has, excuse me, the same HP as any other Plagas. So once you get that helmet off, you are home free. This is great. This is a great conclusion to Ashley's sequence. Having them all frozen like that. Should be a couple of them in here. Which is what I'm hearing. There you are. Woo. Gotcha. What a strange time for the scary stinger music, because I got the drop on him. Let's go upstairs and get this treasure. What can go into this golden links? Cool. Call that a wrap. There we go. Evening, Dan. It's good to see you. Congratulations on being the first commenter of the night. It's been slow. How have you been? Okay, clear there. Clear here. Well, maybe that's what happened to everybody else too. It's been very slow. At first I was thinking like, wow, I think my 20-minute intro discussion of El Santo and Blue Demon versus Dr. Frankenstein might have overdone its intended effect of letting people know what kind of stream they're in for. But maybe it was notifications. Oh man. I would like for you to send that some my way. We have you are currently hearing the in my voice the effects of apparently early smoke season. Looks like there's some fires in the mountains to the north that has started to come down this way. We've entered what I call the white noise season, white noise part of the season, which is there's enough smoke and heat outside that I constantly have air purifiers and an AC unit and AC units running. There you are. There we go. Oh, I don't have shotgun shells. Let's see. Oh. There we go. Excuse me. Yeah. it aggravates my my allergies significantly. And I think it's been well, it's a combination of that, seasonal allergies, and but the allergic reaction has just been hanging on far longer than it should, and I think it's due to the smoke. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. All right, large gold bar. I'm curious. Do you guys get bad fires out there? My impression is that it is a largely West Coast, problem. I don't know how true that is. Tell me about it. I as well, my friend. Okay, so that clears all of this out. Oh, I missed a blue velvet. Yeah, why not? Let's go get it. We're gonna get that infinite rocket launcher by the time the by run end. Gonna need every dime. Oh, Dan, I mentioned during the intro. So I finished this, Red Team Blues. It's good. I recommend it. There are some things I think it could have done differently. Yet what it does well, it does so well and uniquely so that that is worth reading. Yeah, I recommend it. For the first 2/3 of the book, and the last 1/3 is unobjectionable, so it doesn't ruin anything. But I feel like there are a few missed opportunities to make it a little bit or vibrant. Excuse me. Yeah, there's a particular taste that that smoke allergies sort of have, as gross as that sounds. Like, you can actually taste the smoke in the back of your neck, as back of your throat. Great 2/3, inoffensive last.
I knew I could count on you.
Alright.
I've got something new for you.
That's what I got my eye on.
You get bang for your buck. I guarantee it.
By that.
Stocking up while you can. Why, easy. That's good work, if I do say so myself.
Let's sell this.
Thank you.
Good, 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 good.
Got a selection of good things. Don't get yourself killed now.
I have since moved on to this, lent to me by a friend, The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller, who wrote Kirke, another sort of Greek myth set book. And she's being it's described as comparable to Mary Renault, whose Greek historical novels I've read one or two of, and that's vast stabbing. I'm curious, have you read this or anything else by Madeline Miller? Yeah, the directional audio on... Jesus! Hate these things. Oh, that'll clear your sinuses. Good God. Excuse me. Yeah, it's I'm enjoying it. I'm about 1/8 the way through, and yeah, it's really interesting. I know that. Oh wait, crap. Oh, shoot. Gosh, what do I have? Alright, that was pretty cool. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for that. To have fired a mine and then parried him back into it. I'm gonna say that was really cool. Yeah, I did a deep dive into the Iliad a few years ago, and Achilles and Patroclus' relationship shows up as, well, critically divisive, to say the least. And it's interesting. I don't have a horse in either race. And my basically they were just good friends versus they were lovers. Those two different interpretations. The only nuance that I have to it, and probably a third position, is that same-sex and heterosexual relationships in different cultures and different times are different than they are in ours. And so the way that we are thinking about and approaching it might not encompass the entirety of what their relationship signified in their culture. But that is rarely that's really the sort of reason for criticism. The reason for criticism is to orient those stories toward us now. So seeing the narratives that people find most important from those historical relationships is interesting in itself. All right, these guys are hiding around here, and I hate them. And somebody is walking past my window with a flashlight. Excuse me one second. Alright, perimeter check complete. That's, look. Everybody who's out there should be out there. That's good. Yeah, which is what I think the brilliance of Homer, Homer's brilliance is, to leave the relationship portrayed rather than explained, I think is artistically the stronger approach. Run, 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 Leon! Gonna open these doors. Get the hell out of here. I've read the Iliad more recently than the Odyssey, but I can tell you it was an extremely satisfying story and telling of it. It's one of these books that definitely ages along with us. It's really good. Oh, certainly not. And to be sure, many did. It also, I don't know. Fanfic is an interesting frame of reference there because, like, oh, you are just playing possum. Fanfic is an interesting specter to summon there because it is simultaneously used to make older literature relatable and also to denigrate it. So it sort of like elevates it and drops it at the same time, where people describe X great piece of literature as fanfic. Like somebody's describing Milton as like Bible fanfic or something. Clearly the literary value of Paradise Lost goes beyond the triviality that's implied by fanfic. I think that's where the shock value of that assessment comes in. Yet at the same time, appreciating that most stories are revisitations, revisions, re-envisionings, that may be a better way to put it, of established lores and canons that makes those older works more relatable to us, and the writing of them relatable impulses. And so the latter point, I think, is very good and should be emphasized. using it as a way to sort of like draw an equivalence between something like Paradise Lost or Greek epics, or you know, any of those older world literatures, and you know, basically the disposability that the word fanfic implies. That seems disingenuous. Excuse me. I never saw those. I've only seen the GIF "We Are Sparta," and I felt like that told me most of what I needed to know about the movie, which is probably ungenerous and small-minded, but that is what I've done. Oh wow, that was... Goodbye, crap! Go, 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 Leon, don't stagger, go! Oh, this is bad. Ah, Jesus. Claw to the face. This could end badly. So I'm gonna want to turn hard right, run through here. Good, that's my path backwards. Oh, go, 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 my dude, go! All right. Excuse me. What are your thoughts on Blake? I always it's funny to say, I always wanted to like Blake. I like Blake more in theory than I did in fact. I like his philosophy. I like his line of thinking and his mysticism. But every time I read his poems, they just don't click with me. I mean, I get them and I appreciate them, but it's not the sort of thing that like I feel like a hunger has been satisfied. Right. I'm going to go upstairs and get a better vantage point. Ah! Hello. Oh crap, somebody's scuttling over to me. Don't know if I mentioned this, but I hate these things. Anybody out here? Alright. Crap. Interesting. Well, the last time, excuse me, I tried to seriously engage him was many years ago, so maybe it would be worth returning to, worth go back. See, is what I was going to say. So I'm curious. One of the challenges that I had, I don't think that verse needs to be complex. There is a plainness to Blake's poetic voice that feels similar to, I think, Whitman's in the sort of like the plain spoken quality of it, but something that is a little harder to access because it almost feels a little more childlike in Blake than that same effect in Whitman. How do you react to that statement as somebody who likes Blake? I am a coward. Why is the music playing? Who's out here? Oh, there's one. Yeah. Interesting. London? Okay, I'll take a look at that. Yeah, above me. Alright, that went pretty well. Yes, actually, funnily enough, going along with the linking of... What the hell was that? Linking of high art with modern pop forms. Have you ever read, or have you ever seen the movie or read the book, The Dangerous Lives of Altar Boys? Blake figures significantly in that story, and one of the ways that he is praised is as a comic book artist, which I thought is very charming. Very charming take on what he does. Excuse me. Again, a little reductive, but fun. Where is the way to the... There it is. What am I missing? There it is. Okay. So that is... There's treasure up there. Oh, I know where that treasure is. So I'm going to go up and get that treasure, and then I'll pull the switch, and then I'll get the hell out of here. I remember being drawn to Urizen as both like when you say it out loud, like you can hear your reason as like the thing that it's you know, that's the import of the joke, not the joke, but that's the meaning of the character, right? But if you look at it, it looks like it could be sort of like a biblical angel's name, and it looks cool on the page. At the same time, has the barefacedness of its pun when you say it out loud almost gives it a campy vibe underneath that to me. It's very interesting. Ah, yes, your reason. I don't remember Orc. Ah! Okay. So, I pulled this switch, excuse me, hop down. And here's my way forward. Great. Let's see. This. I wish I had more bolts, but I can show you how I did this on. Let's see. I actually want to heal up my knife a little bit. I'll show you how I did this next section on professional, because it should work the same here and actually be a little bit easier. Interesting. Which is the poem? The image is appearing in my mind of this illustration, but it has a man who has his arms are stretched out left and right, and his head is hanging down so that it almost sort of like is flush with his shoulders. Hair flowing everywhere.
Welcome.
Which, I mean, that's sort of I mean, that's kind of a victory of Blake's way of doing it, right? I know a poem that I like, and I can see the picture in my head, even if I'm not remembering the words itself. Yeah, yeah, that's it. It is so strange to think about these English authors in like correspondence with America. Especially, I think it's more the way that they're taught, being English writers, right, and sort of being a sort of a self-contained unit of study rather than in a communication with other poets and other writers living and working at the same time, and so it almost feels like a crossing of universes that they would exist in the same universe that America does. That's how it has struck me anyway. Shelley's a character. Say it lightly. Shelley's one of these authors that I'm reading him. I'm like, based off your writing, I wonder if we would have gotten along as people. Hold on, I didn't do that right. Oh yeah, Blade Runner's great. Here they come. Ah, shit. God, I hate these things. Yeah, let's throw these at him. So... Interesting. I don't remember that. I'll go back and watch that to discover that again. All right. Shit. I wish I had more bolts. Please don't hit me and scare me. Okay. I really need a disposable knife that I can turn into, what am I trying to say? Bolts. Oh my god. That is such a good movie. Alright, let's throw this guy. And if we can get his Las Plagas out, we'll throw this. Well, I killed him. So that worked out. Oh, heal! Oh god. Oh no. Oh, wow. What a friendly fire. Really gotta keep moving here. Boot knife. There we go. That's what I need. Where's my big fella? Ah! Oh, I'm just gonna fire this blindly and hope it saves me. It did! Oh my god. Fighting those things is so tense. Oh wow, they died at roughly the same spot. Oh, did somebody get... Oh crap, it's one of these. Jesus. Okay. Alright, this. 2 for 1. Oh my god. This is hardcore difficulty. Oh, cool. I had bolts hanging out there the whole time. Excuse me. Now this is hardcore. Weirdly enough, I had an easier time of this on professional. I think because I had a ton of bolts and explosives stocked up that I could just continue lobbing them until they killed the Garradors from afar. Oh, good. And this is what I need to make more of these. You can actually drink the gross goop.
Ashley!
Leon, stop! No! Don't come any closer!
You hurt?
Watch out!
Please, do continue. Do not resist, my dear. It serves only to make you safe.
Oh, this is so gross.
You sick! Aquí nos despedimos, señor Kennedy.
I do miss the spite shot into Ramon's earpiece and the line, "Where is the sound of one's impending demise?" or something like that.
Hang in there,
Hang
Ashley.
in there, Ashley.
I'm coming for
I'm
you.
coming for you.
All right. Let's see. Why do I feel like... No? No, I'm thinking something else. I think I'm gonna... I agree. I agree completely. I'm going to
Stick in the landing.
get to the... There we go. See? They take and they give. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get this to a save point, and I think that will be where my voice is at for the night. Oh, no way. Which basically means there are a bunch of the little... Are Garradors the...
The hell?
I think the Garradors are the big guys with the spiky hands. I don't remember what the insects are called. Anyway, they're down here, and I hate them. I think that might be taking the Blake discussion a little further than Resident Evil 4 can bear. I think Ashley's like I don't know what the mechanism there is. The part of me that loves Resident Evil lore and loves making it to fill the holes says that black goop is like you know, what is that? What is the queen nectar that bees have? That like all bees are basically the same, and then one gets fed like special queen nectar, and then it turns into the queen, and that's like the only difference. Oh wow, I'm on my last legs there. That's my headcanon says that's what that stuff they're feeding Ashley is. like this area at all. Oh, fuck this. Just gonna run straight through. Okay, take a right, take a left, run into whatever's here. And probably one more. I don't know how that happened, but when I parried that bug, I killed a black bass. Which I'm going to disgustingly eat. Royal jelly, thank you, that's it. Yes, this is the moneymaker right here. Boom. 100K. Alright, no treasures here. Actually, that was the treasure.
Give me a break.
I hope that when the time comes, I too will be able to weather parasite mind control with the casual eye roll of give me a break. Oh. Before we go, my favorite thing in this whole area is this. Somebody brought a spray bottle down here. It's like the optimism and hope that this one bottle implies is great.
No, not the finest way. Welcome. Bye. Thank you. Give that the care it deserves. Don't get yourself killed.
Alright. Not gonna save over that. That is my first save. I always save those. Alright. I agree completely. Alright, I think that does it for me for the night. Thanks for coming out, Dan, and hanging out and talking. A pleasure as always. So yeah, I'm gonna hopefully the smoke, now that I know it's here and can prepare for it, it'll be an easier time. So anyway, have a good night. Hope the cold doesn't get to you too bad, and yeah, take care. See you next week.